Hey, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Sensible Decor. Welcome to my channel. I thank you for stopping by. If you are new to my channel, I say welcome. Thank you. If you are a returning subscriber, I say, hey, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. And thank you for stopping by. So today, I'm just going to give you a really quick tutorial video on how I mix my epoxy. I have a lot of people that ask, which epoxy do I use? How do I get the bubbles out? That sort of thing. How do I make sure that they are smooth and glass-like? So this is going to be a real quick video, as I am going to be working on a tumbler, and I'll bring that video. But just so that you don't have to watch the whole video, if you don't want to, I'm just going to show you. So I have mixed up parts A and parts B. Now this is my B part, and you can kind of tell because it is very cloudy compared to my part A. Now my room is a cold room, so if you have a cold environment, or it's winter time, or your epoxy just looks very cloudy in the bottle and you are afraid to use it, I'm just going to show you really quickly what to do to make sure that the epoxy is okay and that it doesn't end up cloudy when you put it on your tumbler. So I have my part A, I have my part B mixed, pre-measured, and I am just going to take some water. I have a thing of water here, and you can probably see the smoke coming up off of it. It is pretty hot, and I am just going to take a little bit of this water and I pour it in one of these little cans. This is just I think it's the lid off one of my old tumblers or something, but something that will keep the heat. And I am just going to pour some hot water into that container, and I am going to take my part B, which is my thicker part, which is the actual resin. And the resin is what you want to be, that you want to make sure that it is nice and clear, because the resin is what gives it its clear finish. The part A, or what I have labeled as my part A, is the hardener. So one is the hardener, one is the resin. The resin is what I want to make sure is clear. I don't have a problem with my hardener, even in this cold room, because my room tends to be very cold now that I've moved to a different craft studio. You can see my resin is clear, and it's kind of, it's nice and liquefied, whereas my part B is much thicker and it's cloudy. So I'm just going to take my resin and set it down into that water that is very warm, and we're just going to give it just a little what I call a warm bath, and we're going to let that sit there not too long. So I have it sitting there, and as you can see, it is starting to clear up, and you can see the bubbles are all coming to the top, but it's starting to clear as to from where we started from. So I am just going to carefully come in and just start to mix it. And all of that, all I'm doing right now is really dispersing that heat that the resin is being exposed to. So I'm dispersing the heat throughout the resin. And you can see that it's starting to clear up. I labeled the bottom of my cup with a B. And you can probably see, I don't know if you can see it, but the B is down there. And so now I'm starting to be able to see that, whereas when I first poured it, I couldn't even see it. So when you're following your instructions and it says that it should be clear or mixed till clear, and you've already mixed your epoxy for 15 minutes, you know that you're running out of work time, or you're cutting into your work time, and it's still not clear. This is what I do to begin with, so I don't run into that problem of running out of time, and my epoxy is still not clear, and I've been mixing for far too long. So when I do it like this, I don't have to mix for 10 minutes. I might mix for a good 3-4 minutes, and that is it. But I'm gonna set this back in there. And I also have just a little container that I'll pour that water into. If it starts to cool off, it's not cool, it's not hot or warm, I can always pour it out and pour some more water in there that I know still has some good tint to it. And I'll just sit that right back in there. You want to be careful. You do not want your water level to to exceed the rim. You don't want to get any water inside of your resin. So you do want to be careful, but you just want to get it in there, just set it in there long enough that it starts to clear up. And you can see that it's much more liquefied than it was when I started out, and it was very cloudy and it was very, very thick. Again, that happens to me because my room is too cold. So if your epoxy, or your resin, I should say, if your resin or your hardener has kind of started to solidify and to get solid on you, all you need to do is do this before you mix the two parts together. So now that is of a much more liquid consistency. It's not thick and clumpy. I can move that out the way. And now I can mix the two. And I'm trying to do this without having to move my spinner. But you see how easily that poured? Now, I don't know if you're supposed to mix A into B or B into A. I've made so many tumblers and wine glasses and different items that it just really doesn't affect my outcome. It doesn't affect my end product. So I'm just scraping to get everything out. And then I am just going to mix. If you want to sit it in there, now these two are mixed together, so the chemical process is now activated because the two are mixed together. So now you do want to move, with a sense of urgency, not in a rush, but go ahead and get them mixed. And so I'm just gonna slowly mix for a few minutes and allow those to mix really well. And then your epoxy is ready to go. But I just wanted to jump on here and show you the technique that works the best for me to ensure that my tumblers have a nice, smooth, glass-like clear finish without a lot of air bubbles and no cloudiness, okay? And so if you have problems with your epoxy, if you're in a colder environment, it seems like your epoxy is thick and you haven't even mixed it together, it's just coming out of the bottle thick because of how you're storing it or where you're storing it, I would highly suggest that you try this. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments. I do look at the comments, and I do appreciate you guys that watch my videos and you leave nice comments. I'm just here to share a little bit of what I know, give you some tips and some pointers that'll help you out along the way. So I thank you for watching. You guys have yourself a great day. And be sure to come back and watch the full video on this tumbler that I am creating. So until we meet again, peace.